On December 17, 1991, Altair Medeiros de Abreu, at the age of 10, entered a police station accompanied by relatives. This boy was about to help capture one of Brazil's most terrifying and cruel serial killers, known as the Vampire of Niterói, Marcelo Costa de Andrade. Marcelo claimed he was sending them to paradise, responsible for at least 8 homicides. Born on January 2, 1967, in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, Marcelo grew up in a humble home in Rosina. His mother, Xavier Costa, worked as a domestic servant while his father was a communist bar owner. Marcelo had an older brother, though little is known about his involvement in the story. Their father often physically abused Marcelo's mother in front of him, which could have contributed to the young boy's developing psychopathic tendencies. As a child, Marcelo was interested in killing and would torture stray cats. He later moved to Ceará to live with his grandparents, where he faced frequent physical abuse. Despite his troubled past, Marcelo attempted to gain empathy by supporting himself through prostitution after leaving the internat, boarding school. At 14 years old, he returned to Rio de Janeiro and was taken in by a man named Antonio, who provided for him without clear evidence of intimate involvement. Marcelo became involved with an evangelical church, attending services daily on TV. He heard a message about children dying before the age of 12 going directly to heaven due to their purity from sin. Inspired by this teaching and his interest in idols of the time, like Xuxa, Marcelo divided his time between church, prostitution, reading magazines with explicit content, and listening to children's music. Eventually, he started working as a street distributor for flyers and lived without a fixed address, often struggling for resources. Marcelo befriended street children whose parents were addicted to drugs or absent. He saw these children as the perfect objects for his perverse fantasies. In April 1991, he approached a 6-year-old boy offering a snack in exchange for help with a religious ritual. The child agreed and was led to an isolated location where Marcelo sexually assaulted him before strangling him with his own shirt. Marcelo returned multiple times to the scene, removing the boy's pants and teeth as souvenirs. Eventually, the body was discovered, marking the start of his serial killing spree targeting street children under 12 years old, primarily in Itaboraí. Marcelo would lure them with money or food, then strangle or suffocate them alone in secluded areas like sewers, tunnels, and fields. Marcelo's modus operandi involved searching for his victims while distributing flyers and isolating himself with the child before committing the murder. This case remains one of Brazil's most disturbing, highlighting how Marcelo exploited religious teachings to justify his heinous acts and target vulnerable children in society. He then violated the body of his victim, now lifeless, to revisit part of the blood. Marcelo kept the boy's shorts as some kind of trophy or medal. Returning days later to the crime scene, he sought satisfaction again. Since no one reported the disappearance of these children to the police, it took time for bodies to be found, facilitating the serial killer's actions. What did you say to the children to get them to follow you to such places between April and December 1991? Marcelo admitted to killing 13 boys, though the police attribute 14 homicides to him. Investigators were only able to link 8 cases to his number due to the stage of decomposition of the bodies and lack of technology at the time. On December 16, 1991, Altair Medeiros de Abreu, 10 years old, was walking with his younger brother Ivan on a street in Santa Isabel, a poor neighborhood in São Gonçalo. They had 5 other siblings, all children of Abreu. The boys were passing by the central station in Niterói when they were approached by Marcelo, who offered money to his brothers for help. The criminal took the boys on a bus to a deserted beach near the Viaduto do Barreto. Alone on this beach, Marcelo attempted to kiss the younger boy, Ivan, who was terrified and tried to flee but was caught by Marcelo after he forced himself upon him. Using the boy's own shirt, Marcelo strangled Altair. Paralyzed by this horrific scene, Altair obeyed the criminal's orders as his brother was violently killed and murdered by Marcelo, fearing the same would happen to him. The next day, Marcelo told Altair he needed to retrieve flyers for work, perhaps trying to convince Taya to stay or remain there until his return. The killer had taken a child's life the previous day while holding another hostage and acting as if it were just another day of work, suggesting a complete absence of remorse or empathy on Marcelo's part. At some point during this conversation, Marcelo was distracted, allowing Altair to flee. The boy ran home through a ride-sharing service, first telling his sister. At some point during this conversation, Marcelo was distracted, allowing Altair to flee. The boy ran home through a ride-sharing service, first telling his sister everything that had happened before going with his mother to the police station. He then led the police to where his brother's body was hidden. After identifying the victim, Altan indicated the location where Marcelo worked, and law enforcement quickly apprehended him, displaying strong narcissistic and psychopathic traits. In his interrogation, Marcelo confessed to each of his crimes, leading investigators to additional unfound bodies in his statement. He described each crime with disturbing details and excessive emotionality, perhaps attempting to elicit a reaction from the investigators, indicating some pleasure in recounting those acts as if he were proud of taking the lives of children, trying to justify his own actions. Marcelo only killed children under 12 years old because they were free from sin and would go to heaven, almost as if he were doing a favor. This demonstrates the diversity present in this individual. Marcelo was declared unfit for trial by justice, preventing him from being tried for his crimes. A subject becomes unfit when it is understood that they are either acting under a mental disorder or incomplete mental development, unable to comprehend such actions. Marcelo Costa de Andrade was sentenced to remain in a psychiatric treatment hospital, Henrique Salgado, also known as the Judiciary, due to security and freedom verification measures still in place during those early months of his stay. Despite this, Marcelo managed to escape to Ceará, but with his face already in all newspapers and TV programs, he was quickly recognized and recaptured 4 days later. Observing clearly, Marcelo displayed traits of antisocial personality disorder and narcissism, cruelty in his crimes driven by detailed fantasies, lacking any level of remorse or empathy, suggesting a high degree in this condition. At the time of his arrest, the maximum time someone could spend in reclusion was 30 years. Although this has since been modified to 40 years, it does not affect Marcelo's case. Currently, in 2023, he would have already served his sentence and transitioned from a criminal institution to a civil one. At 56 years old, Marcelo Costa de Andrade remains interned in the Stodia Hospital for psychiatric treatment and rehabilitation in Niterói while awaiting the court's decision. Wow, you made it to the end? Thank you so much for watching all the way through. Your support means the world to me and helps the channel grow. Now, I want to hear from you. What did you think of this video? Drop a comment below. And if you enjoyed it, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss the next videos. Also, turn on the notification bell to stay updated. See you in the next one. Thanks a lot.